I'm the moderator. My name is Maimuna Isa, and the motion for this afternoon is this House believes that private schools are better for Nigeria's education system than public schools. So this is a topic that touches on schools, and it talks about access, quality, equity, and national development. So I encourage both sides to present clear arguments supported by evidence and to consider the broader implications of their positions for all Nigerians in both rural and urban settings. So let's aim for a constructive discussion that respects different perspectives and focuses on solutions for improving Nigeria's education system. Now I would remind you guys the rules. Although Abia has performed before, but I'll remind you because Enugu hasn't. So each speaker has 6 minutes. When it's time for POIs, that's in the third minute, I will raise my POI note. This is to signify that it's time for POIs. When you want to ask POIs, you do this. Don't shout POI, just do this. And then it is up to the speaker to either accept or decline your to let you know that you have 1 minute left. And when your time is clap, so you make sure to stick to your time, because when you exceed your time, your points might be deducted. So we are going to be starting with the first proposition. Please, who is proposing, Abia or Enugu?
Abia is proposing. Why Enugu is opposing?
Okay, Abia, please, let's have your first speaker. Your time starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
A dog owned by many dies of hunger, but a dog owned by a particular person tends to be well fed. Good day, the panel of judges, my great timekeeper, my distinguished audience, and my fellow debaters. My name is Joan Chemaka Wanzwe, the chief speaker of the proposing team, and I'm going to be supporting the motion that this House strongly believes that private schools are better for Nigeria's educational system than public schools. I am going to be doing so with these 3 points: qualification, funds, labor, structure, and academic aspects of the topic. I, as the first speaker, am going to be handling the qualification, fund, and labor aspect of the topic. While on my right is the second speaker. He's going to be handling the structural and academic aspects of the topic. And on my left is the third speaker. She's going to be throwing more light on what we have already said. I can't just dive into today's topic without letting you all understand the concept. What are private schools? Private schools are educational institutions that are not funded or controlled by the government. Instead, they are funded by the tuition fees paid by students, non-governmental organizations, or even personal individuals. Then what are public schools? Public schools are educational institutions that are funded and controlled by the government. But the question is, how are private schools better for Nigeria's educational system than public schools? Here are some few points of mine that will help me back it up. Number 1, better infrastructures. My dear brothers and sisters, Nigeria's public school infrastructures are not to write home about. Have you gone to Nigerian public schools? Some of them don't even have chairs and tables to sit on. Some of them don't even have model to 5 facilities to help teach students. And we say that we're living in AI age. Is this the type of education that Nigerian system wants? So Nigerian system wants an education that isn't equipped, isn't modified. Is this the type of education? No. Even you all will agree with me that Nigerian public school is nothing to write home about. Nigerian public schools can come out in public and say that I am a citizen of Nigeria, because we all will be ashamed if we invite people to our public schools. A 2022 report by the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics found that 75% of public schools in Nigeria require renovation. The rehabilitated buildings, all of them, I can't even go there. I'm just so frustrated. Have you seen our schools? Some of them don't even have better classrooms, no adequate seats. The roof is falling down, and you call that a school? Is this the type of Nigerian educational system that we need? Point 2, qualified teachers. Private schools tend to attract and retain qualified teachers. And they don't just attract qualified teachers, they attract teachers who are ready to teach. I accept. What's your question?
My question is, how do you ensure inclusivity and accessibility in your world as it concerns poor people at the grassroots level?
Let me explain. The private schools aren't only limited to the rich. They are also emphasized to the poor too, so that the poor have access to all these private schools. So it's not only for the rich. That's why we need privatization. Have you noticed that schools that are privatized tend to perform better than public schools? Let's take for instance the telecommunication. When ITEL was on seat, there was no better network. But now that the government have dispersed it, now there's Airtel, MTN. Can't you see that there's competition, healthy competition? I hope I've been able to answer your question. Thank you. Private schools have better teachers than public schools. But if you go into public schools, most of their teachers are nonchalant. They don't care about the students, their well-being. They don't even care if the students read their books or not, because all they have for that day is that I've come to school and present, that is all. They don't care if the students are grabbing one point or the other from what they are being taught. This isn't right. Is this what we want to write about? Is this the type of Nigerian education system that we need? Smaller class sizes. Private schools have smaller class sizes, making it easier for students to pay attention and be better in class. If we're able to privatize Nigeria's educational system, it will be better for us. Thank you.
She used 32 seconds. Now, can we have our first opposing speaker? Your time starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
On the opposition today, we protect the right to education for all and sundry in Nigeria, especially the people at the grassroots level. Secondly, panel, on opposition today, we stand to ensure accessibility to equal education despite your socioeconomic status. Thirdly, panel, on opposition today, we stand against any form of inequality and social disintegration. Good afternoon, my panel of judges, co-debaters, my appearance timekeeper, and my moderator. My name is Collins Kayla, and I stand before you today as the lead speaker of Team Enugu. I will be doing the job distribution. I will set the foundation for my team's debate, and I will show you the nature of public and private schools. While my first opposing speaker is going to extend our case and show you the non-workability of private schools. And my second opposing speaker is going to show you comparative analysis, social impact, and stakeholder analysis. First of all, I will start by showing you the nature of public and private schools. But first, let me define a better education system. A better education system, according to Nigeria's education system, is one that is three things: one that is inclusive, one that is accessible, and one that is quality. Yes, I agree, private schools are quality, but do they really answer to inclusivity and accessibility? No. Now, let me go back to showing you what a public school is. A school is an institution that is owned, managed, and financed by the government. What does this show you? Because it is owned and financed by the government, this means one thing, first of all, there is credibility of teachers. This simply means that teachers are qualified and certified to teach the students and are making proper impact. And because it is owned and managed by the government, it also shows that there is proper curriculum planning. What does this show? Individuals who are experts at this field are the ones planning this curriculum, meaning the education is truly quality. This is what I define as the best education system. Now to private schools. What is a private school? A private school is an institution that is owned, managed, and financed by an individual or a non-governmental organization. What does this show you? Because it is managed and financed by an individual, it means they can fold on any day. When profit doesn't come or when profit reduces, it means this school could just shut down. And what does this show you? This is not an education system that we can hold responsible or hold to education, because any day they could shut down and we can't hold them responsible because these are people's businesses. They are also profit driven and they do not care about curriculum planning. Unless if they did, they would focus more on education than making profits. Now, let me show you education as a right rather than a privilege. In Nigeria's education system, private schools pose that education is a privilege for only those who can afford it. Is that really what a better education system is? Is a better education system one that's only for people who are rich and well off? Or an education system who is for people of Nigeria? Every child has access to education. Now, social impacts of these private schools. Imagine this scenario. I come from a well-off family, a rich family, and I go to a public school. I get good learning, I go in buses, I have a properly packed lunch box. Then my neighbor on the other hand, who is less privileged, or goes to a public school, or doesn't even have access to education at all. Now, when both of us come in this world, we stand as two people who are ununified, and there is economic diversity. What does this show? Private schools pose a threat on economy by separating individuals. Is this really what we want in our economic system? Now, panel, today I have showed you three things. First of all, I have showed you the nature of public schools and private schools. I have showed you that education is not a privilege on opposition's world, but a right on opposition's world. And I have also showed you the social impact that private schools are having on the minds of young children. I accept the question from Team Abia.
You said that private schools don't give inclusivity. What do you have to say about those private schools that have specific scholarship programs for the rich and poor both alike? What about those private schools that also have programs that give scholarship programs? For example, if you are known for good sports, what about those programs that give you scholarship?
Kim, thank you for that question. I will start by telling you that is still a segregation. Because your private schools that do that are saying, oh, our education system is only for those who have the capacity mentally or the money. Are you telling me that anybody who cannot answer to that their system is going to be excluded from education? Are you telling me that, oh, because I did not pass the social exam, or I am not a part of the 5% of people that can get a scholarship, does that mean I should be completely out of the education system? No, that is not inclusivity. That is not accessibility. That is extreme segregation. Today, I am very proud of the motion I stand against. I strongly oppose the motion that private schools are better than public schools for Nigeria's education system. Thank you.
We used a total of 5 minutes, 33 seconds. Now, can we have our next speaker from proposition? Your time starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You said that private schools don't give accessibility. That is simply laughable. Good day, panel of judges, accurate timekeeper, my co-debaters, and my esteemed audience. My name is Chijebube Emmanuel, and I'm here to firmly support the motion. Private schools are better for Nigeria's education system than public schools. As my first, you said private schools don't give accessibility. That is simply incorrect. Private schools are schools that are ready to accept people, no matter about your age, no matter your background, no matter your background, no matter your background. Private schools are just there to accept anybody that are willing to strive, are willing to push forward to enter their school, are willing to push the extra mile to enter their schools. You said they are qualified teachers in public schools. That is what it is supposed to be. But we know our current Nigeria. Nigeria is not a country that we can just have an idea and say that, oh, it's happening. We know that the teachers inside the public schools right now are currently unqualified. They still believe in old ways of teaching. Now, for example, the world is developing in AI and other technological advances like that. But the teachers still teach in arcane. How can a teacher be teaching English with people? That is not correct. That is not good for our current generation. You also said you have gone off for you also tried to answer my question. But when you answered my question, you had completely gone off point. You did not answer the question I asked, which is the scholarship programs that schools provide. You did not give me a correct answer to that. You went off point trying to give my question a tag of seclusion and did not give me a good opportunity to perform. Anyways, my points are better academic performance. According to a research by Osun State University in 2017, 73.3% students of pupils in private primary schools scored above average in mathematics and social studies, while only 30.8% of public school pupils did that. We all know the facts are against you, that private schools are better for the Nigerian education system by providing a stronger academic background for their students. Another report by the NEDS, National Education Data Survey, 2015, found that children in private schools achieve higher literacy and numeracy levels in every region of the country. I don't know about you, but that is clear fact that shows that Nigerian education system needs private schools to skyrocket our children into a better future. Now, a strike was done by ASU. ASU meaning Academic Staff Union of Universities. This strike was done in multiple public universities. But you never see strikes like that. You never see strikes like that in private school universities. For example, have you ever your question?
What metric is used on the proposition to justify certified and qualified teachers?
Private schools get their teachers by a series of tests. Number one, they test their qualifications. They bring you to bring your certificate. They tell you to explain how you got that certificate, the step-by-step reason ways you got that certificate. And also, they also tell you to write an exam before you enter their schools. Now, they always pick quality teachers because they need quality teachers to teach their students in order for them to have quality students that will represent their schools internationally and nationally in order to bring more fame to the country. As I was saying, private universities never go on strikes. They are privately owned and they are not chosen by the government or poor payments by the government and things like that. They are privately owned. They are better prepared for teachers' needs and they can pay well. My second point is better learning environment. EduGist in 2023 found that 76% of private schools have functionally libraries and laboratories compared to the 33% of public schools. Many public schools face overcrowding, outdated facilities, and limited supervision, as well as bad security. I want you guys to remember about the Chibok girls that were kidnapped in 2010. They were all from a public school, and they were kidnapped. It's 15 years from that, and most of them have still not been found. Private schools create safer and cleaner and more supportive learning environments for the students, and better preparation for future. Private schools have different extracurricular activities like debate societies, ICT classes, sports clubs, and other extracurricular activities like that. They prepare children for the future, give them confidence, and stretches their abilities past what public schools can ever give. In conclusion, private schools offer scoring higher in academics. They enjoy smaller classes and better facilities. Their schools are well managed and they gain confidence and life skills for the future. That's why I strongly believe private schools are better than public schools. Thank you.
He used a total of 5 minutes, 51 seconds. Can we have our next speaker from opposition? Your time starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Panel, on the side of proposition, I find two major flaws: social segregation and economic inequality. My name is Elekwa Chima, a representative of Team Enugu, and I strongly disagree that private schools are better than public schools. I find it laughable that proposition believes that we have problems in facilities, academics, and infrastructure, but I have two strong responses to that. Firstly, anything anything proposition can bring, the government can give it to us at the snap of their fingers. This can be shown in various smart schools and scholarships given to public schools. This shows inclusivity in education. Private schools see education as a commodity to be bargained with parents and students, but that's not how we see it in public schools. We can also see this in teachers. In public schools, teachers are certified with their TRCM qualifications, but in private schools, they are based on profit. If private schools don't have enough profit, they get underqualified teachers. Now, let's look at a better system of education. Based on what my lead speaker said, a better system of education is inclusive and affordable. It doesn't leave some, it takes all. And this is how public schools are used. They have metrics and systems that they use to carry all students to make them better, not only to perfect some, to perfect all. Now, let's look at the principle of utilitarianism. It states that anything that satisfies the majority satisfies all. But public schools don't only satisfy the majority, they satisfy all as a whole, giving them good education. But private schools perfect only some. Firstly, they perfect only some based on how much school fees they can pay, maybe tens or thousands of naira. And secondly, they only satisfy the perfection of those that are privileged based on standards. They take tests and other quizzes to make sure that they take only the best. Now, let's look at non-workability. Yes, there's corruption on both sides of the system, but which one is more accountable? It's the government, because the government makes sure that every student is accessing to education. They act as a parental function for every student, while private schools only perfect some. They are based on profit, and they are not seeing any other student that can't pay school fees. Like a 4-year-old child that choked on a piece of meat in Abuja. This was in a private school. The child died in the classroom and school was not accountable for anything that happened to that child. Now, let's look at social justice. Private schools create a gap between those who are wealthy and those who are poor, those who can pay school fees and those who can't. And this is not right. They should see all students as equals and give them equal education for all. Anything that happens in the school should be accountable for. But in private schools, you can't account for this because it is a personal business. Meanwhile, in governments, they account for this because through everything they do, they are accountable for every education that's given to every child. Now, we look at what satisfies all. Satisfying all through education is not easy. You have to take it through accountability and accessibility, both through funds and through practice. In private schools, they are not accountable for all children. Meanwhile, in public schools, they are. And a scenario can be a child from private school going to school in a school bus, good school uniform, and is able to afford school fees. While in public school, they aren't able to afford school fees. This isn't right because it creates a psychological gap in both social cohesion and diversity. Now, I've been able to tell you about the better system of government, inclusivity, and accessibility. And my question is private school really the correct system for the nation? And is it the system that the nation deserves? Thank you.
Okay, he used a total of 4 minutes, 35 seconds. Now, can we have the next speaker from proposition? Your time starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good day, my panel of judges, my accurate timekeeper, my co-debaters, and my honorable audience. My name is Onohafeva Daisy, and I'm here to strongly propose on the topic that states that private schools are better for Nigerian education system than public schools. My opponent, he said that private schools are not accountable for their students. As my second speaker may have said, the Chibok girls in 2010, when they know in public schools. So please, can you tell me, those public schools, were they accountable for their lives? Which accountability is more better than the lives of your students that went missing? It's over 15 years and they're nowhere to be found. They must have created like generations to come. You also said, as my second speaker also said, you did not answer our questions, just drove it back to segregation. Private schools do not segregate among students. My second speaker made mention of scholarship exams, like those people that are physically fit, that can play ball, football. They give scholarships to them, or maybe if your IQ is high, they give you scholarship exams to write them. So please, exactly, how do private schools segregate in those ways? There are also private schools that are pocket friendly for you. I know there are multiple private schools. Not all private schools are highly expensive. There are private schools that you can afford, even a poor man can afford it. It's not all private schools that you say, oh, they're high and mighty. And my opponent, I will put it to you, my dear, you're from a private school. You are from a private school. So please don't tell me that, oh, because of I'm from a private school, my dear, your first speaker made mention of that facilities that private public schools have facilities. What happened last week? Please, can you tell me what happened to the boy that broke his head because of his school? His school zinc fell on his head and he broke. He was from a private school. What happened to him? Were those facilities able? Did they have the facilities? And it was a public school. Private schools are known to have the highest facilities. And as my second speaker said, private schools have higher academic aspects. Their academics are higher. There are two Nigerians who went to represent Nigeria, and they're from private schools. They represented Nigeria in the Singapore and Asia Mass Olympics, and they won. And they were celebrated by the Federal Ministry of Education for winning. And JAMB recorded of JAMB 2025. If you don't know the full meaning of JAMB, the full meaning of JAMB is Joint Admission and Matriculation Board. And JAMB registered that 89% of students who scored 300 and above came from private schools. What happened to those in public schools? They come to school. Some of them don't have chair. Some of them even sit on the floor, or even block highest, or even window frame. And what do they come to school? Manual labor. Some schools, public schools are covered with bush, my dear. Bushes. You can't even see the school building properly. It is bush. And they'll come to school to clear for you bush. Some teachers even come to school 1, 2. What are they coming to school to learn? Even though they come to school early, what are they coming to school to do? Highest thing, they will give them maybe vegetable leaf to do for them. Yes, your question.
You said private schools are known for their best test results and all. I disagree with that. So can you tell me what happens to the Anambra public school that won the best primary school in Nigeria?
Using one school to compare the entire... Okay, so you're trying to tell me that it's only one public school we have in Nigeria. Using one public school to compare the rest is not even capable. We have many and thousands of private schools in Nigeria that have won for competitions and they have won. They have won. What is now the use of using one public school to compare? One cannot equal to, how can you say 1 ratios to 1,000? That's improper. And it is not. As I was saying, the data from the National Education Development Study shows higher levels of literacy and comprehension in private schools and public schools. Okay, let me bring it down to you. We have been talking about private public schools and not private, and not, well, the topic says private public schools, private schools and public schools. We have been talking about secondary school. Let us bring it down to university. My dear, I can enter school. Me and my first speaker can go to school at the same time. She will go to a public school, I will go to a private school. She bring her doing nursing. Nursing is known to have 5 years course. She will enter public school. ASU strike will come. 8 months indefinite strike. She's still in school. I have graduated. So please, can you please tell me how is private school not better than public school? So my dear opponent, please, I want you to use your medulla oblongata to think about it properly and tell me how is public school better? Because I don't really see the facts. I don't perform to it. Thank you.
Okay, she used 5 minutes, 22 seconds. Can we have our third speaker from opposition? Your time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Panel, we are going to decide the winner of this debate competition based on 3 things. Firstly, which of these teams protect the right to education and not privilege? Secondly, which of these teams ensure inclusive education concerning people's status? And thirdly, which of these teams defend a better education? My name is Ubweke Nasiko Sochukwu, and I am the second supporting speaker, Team Enugu. I stand strongly opposed to the motion that states private schools are better for Nigeria's education system than public schools. I am going to show you how my team has defended this by using the comparative analysis, impact analysis, and stakeholders analysis. Firstly, the comparative analysis. Public schools provide free education that is open to all, regardless the race or the tribe. They promote equality, unity, and national development, unlike that of the private schools that are strictly access to only to those who can afford it. How then, panel, can we call a system that neglects the poor better? Secondly, the impact analysis. Private schools are owned by individuals who are not be held accountable for anything that happens. They can probably leave the students and the teachers stranded or even run away with people's money. But the public schools are owned by government who can be held accountable because it's their duty and responsibility to finish up whatever it is that they started. Thirdly, the stakeholders analysis. Public schools provide and enable things like the teachers union, parent teachers association, and the government are working so hard to close every little gap of inequality towards the students. Unlike the private schools who only accept a particular set of people. Some private schools only accept Muslims, some only Christians, some boys or even girls. How can that be a good system for Nigeria? According to the first speaker of the proposition, she talked about bad infrastructures in Nigeria, in public schools. That was a thing of the past, meaning that preposition is still on the past. That is very laughable because can she tell me how many schools now presently that has bad infrastructure? Let us take a look at the Enugu smart schools. Very good infrastructure, and people like even our governor during his time didn't have access to things like smart board and good infrastructure. But look at him now. He remembers his origin and started building up good things like our smart schools. Now in Enugu, you can see a smart school in almost every community in Enugu. They also said that public schools do not go international or worldwide. I totally disagree with that because it is true in pockets. Can she tell me what happens to Anambra Public Primary School that won the best primary school in Nigeria? She said, how can I tell her one, only one that can stand up to their standard? I'm just telling her that is one out of many. Because it is very uncountable for me to start listing out how good we have public schools in Nigeria, especially here in Enugu State and other states here in Nigeria. Proposition said teachers do not pay attention to students. That is very laughable because I disagree. Before you can teach in a public school, you must have your CRCN certificate, which is very compulsory for a teacher in the public school, and every teacher must have that. But in the private schools, according to your ways of teaching, and you can bring them more money because it is profit-oriented, which does not satisfy the need of every other person. It doesn't satisfy inclusivity, quality, and accessibility. They are only found in urban areas. So what happens to the people that are living in the rural areas? How would they go to school? They mentioned something like the children that were kidnapped on the road. In private schools, people also die. Most of the time, like the recent case we had now, a boy choked on meat. How then are they accessible or even accountable for their results or for what happens to their students? They said they are accountable. Okay, did anybody come and question them about what happened to their students? No, nobody questioned them. A system that bad cannot be affordable to everybody in Nigeria and cannot be welcomed in Nigeria as a better system. It can be called better. They said strike. This is like all these things they're just saying things that existed in the past
Can she list at least 2 or 3 schools that have gone on strike recently? No, she cannot, because government can do all these things in a snap of their finger. Governments are working really hard to stop all these things. Anyways, education now, panel, you can see that education is a right and not a privilege. And the school that protects the rights of the students better should be regarded as the better school. And that better school is the public schools. Thank you.
Total of 5 minutes, 18 seconds. Okay, now it's time for our reply speech. And reply speeches goes for just 2 minutes. And in this session, you're not to add more points, but to summarize everything that everyone on your side has said. We are starting with the reply speaker from the opposition. So you choose whoever you want to make a point, make your speech, to step forward and give your speech. So in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yes. Okay, so in summary, opposition's word is trying to say public schools are better because they're accessible, inclusive, and with support from government, they can be quality. We are trying to say that we want a system for education that includes everybody. A system that doesn't say, oh, okay, let's say we are working better. We're producing students based off of miracle centers when WAEC and JAM time comes. How do we know those results are true? But no, public schools provide entities that monitor the students to make sure every result is the true standard of the student. Also, in summary of our points, we are trying to say we want an education system that is global, not one that is only found in urban areas, but one that is also found in rural areas and all around the world. One that even a mother who is just a petty that can afford for her young child. One that a father who has no job can still say, okay, I'm parenting my child as someone who is educated. That is the kind of education system we want. Thank you.
Okay. He used a total of 1 minute, 8 seconds. Now reply speaker from proposition. Your time starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, my opponent is me again. No, no happy as the one replying your messages. My opponent, the third speaker, you made mention of choking on meat. Oh my god, choking on meat! Can't you choke in your house? If you want to choke on meat, please, I'm leaving you with that question. You also made mention of private schools don't accept Muslims. Please, kindly mention one private school that does not accept Muslims. I'll also leave you with that question. My third opponents in the opposite side, you said something. The points you are bringing out were just what we have already answered. We have given you those questions, the answers to those questions you were mentioning, and we are giving you with facts and statistics. So, and that ASU strike, ASU is currently on strike, so it is nothing about past. It is currently they are currently on strike, even as we speak. 2-week strike. If possible, they may even change that 2 weeks to indefinite strike. And those students that went to school, those pressures that say that we're doing for us, get ready with me to pack for uni. They are on strike. So, my dear opponents, most of everything you said had already been answered by us. So, you leave me with nothing to say as my replying speech. And for that choking of meat, I'm still laughing to it though. Choking of meat of all things. Hey! Thank you, dear. And I am leaving. Thank you very much for help. Thank you very much.
Okay. 1 minute, 34 seconds. That leads us to the end of this session of debate. And now we are going to hand over to the coaches to accumulate the results and share with us who won this round. Thank you.
Okay, that was an awesome one. That was a good one from Team Abia, a good one from Team Enugu. And so at the end of the day, only one person must win. So let's allow the judges to compile their result. The result will be announced within the next 4 minutes. Thank you. So just stay online for the next 4 minutes. We'll announce the result. The next debate we have is Team Kaduna versus Team Jigawa.
a very tight corner. But this is a competition that at least must have a winner. So the list of positions I observed in debates, we all believe that we are friends. Because of this, we shouldn't use the vowel language in ourselves. Like one of the speakers said, use your medulla oblongata. That means use your brain. You don't say that in debate because we are all friends. After the competition, we still meet again. So those are the areas that I observed. All have spoken very well. Congratulations. Thank you.
Good afternoon once more. This debate is also keenly contested, and the both teams very eloquent in their presentation. But like my fellow adjudicator has said, we are friends in argument. So when you pick some words to use, be very cautious. That those words are not offensive words. That is one. Two. When you are introducing yourself, be very clear in your introduction. Most of you just come. I want to introduce myself. I am Mr. Benson. Mr. Benson. Being clear. We hear me. Clear. Then also, what is the purpose of POI? The purpose of POI is to stabilize your opponent. From voting, when you make your POI, it's just like you are just like red on a soft ground for them to pass. So your POI should be something that they will ponder on. Then also distribution and introduction of the topic. One of the teams so far did not do that very well. So for subsequent appearance, subsequent session, please try as much as to distribute your task, and then use your POI very well. And on that note, we have come to the conclusion of this debate, and it is unanimous. It is unanimous by the three adjudicators, and that goes to the fact that Team Enugu has won this session of the debate. Thank you.